Hey guys, welcome to the webinar. We're just getting set up here really quickly, getting on YouTube as well. So after this webinar, you're going to be able to find the recording on YouTube afterwards. And you'll be able to see, and actually if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll also be able to see every time we do these things live, right? So we do lots of, we give out lots of free stuff. We give out lots of free classes, that sort of thing. So if you guys want to check us out on YouTube, that is where you can find a lot of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here so I can show you guys around a little bit. All right. So to show you again our YouTube, and this is kind of how we're running live here. So if you go to youtube.com, search for Lumi Wealth, right? You can find us in there. Once again, so right here. So you guys can subscribe to us and you can get a bunch of our free stuff from there. We send out lots of free things and we're going to be sending out a lot more, actually, some little snippets of our class, a little showing off new bots and things like that. There's lots of things that we're going to be sending through our YouTube. So make sure you subscribe there. And then again, this recording will also go up on YouTube afterwards, right? So you'll be able to see the recording here afterwards. And actually you can see it here live. So you guys can watch it afterwards and see whatever you need to do. All right, cool. So I'm going to get started here. All right, so today what we're going to be discussing is we're going to be discussing how to build a trading bot using Lumibot, right? This is a technology that we use within our classes. It makes it very, very easy for you guys to build your own trading robots, right? Easy enough after going through classes. I know some people with coding experience will take a look at this open source framework, try to build it themselves. Definitely requires a little bit more work than that. That's why we have these classes out as well, right? But if you were to go through these classes, we have lots and lots of people producing these bots right now and able to automate their trades and do some really cool stuff, all right? Okay, so here's our agenda for today. First, we're just going to go quickly through who's on this call to get to know you guys a little bit. Then I'm going to introduce myself and Lumi Wealth a little bit. And then we're going to jump into, why we do algorithmic trading and then show you actually a demo of this code working, right? Of this thing actually trading, right? Okay. And then afterwards, once we show you that, we're going to tell you a little bit about the course as well. So that if you'd like to sign up to our course, and we sell lots of these courses, lots of people join, and it's a fantastic program. We've gotten great reviews about it. If you want to join that course, you can, we'll describe to you a lot about the course and how it all works and kind of how it all breaks down, right? Okay, so first of all, so let's get to know you guys a little bit of who's on the call here. So can you guys type in the chat? So you guys see the Zoom chat, what is your occupation, if you know how to program, and then how much investment experience you guys have, right? So we can kind of get to know you guys a little bit. So you do not know how to program, so we got that. 0 years of investment experience, and then occupation, if you want to put in there as well, it's up to you, right? Great, thank you for sharing that. All right, so so just to let you know, you are there's a lot of people like you in the class. Solutions architect, AWS. Oh, great. So you have a little bit of experience in the tech world. That's awesome. So there's a lot of people on our courses that are similar to you actually, that have never coded before. We can definitely help out with that sort of thing. And then in terms of investment experience, I think it's actually great when you come in without not too much investment experience. I know sometimes people will say, well, I should go and trade a little bit first. The response to that is always, if you could make sure that you're actually doing this stuff correctly, it will really help you out a lot when you actually do start trading, right? So, you could take the approach of, yeah, so you go, we got another one. Forex trading since February, purchased stocks for a few years. Nice, awesome. Thanks, Lachelle. Yeah, so even if you don't know how to trade, if you've never invested before, this is actually great because you'll be able to get started having a lot of knowledge behind your back, right? So instead of going in there, and a lot of people start trading and just lose a ton of money, going through a course like this will teach you how to actually figure out what are strategies that will work and what will actually make you money or not, right? So, and we'll get through that as we get going. All right. Okay. So we got to know you guys a little bit. So feel free to keep typing in when you guys get a chance, guys, as well. So let me tell you a little bit about myself and about Lumibot. All right, so who am I? My name is Robert Grezik. I'm the CEO of Lumibot and also the head instructor of this course. I have about over 20 years of programming experience now. I've been coding for a long time. I was a kid when I started. Managed a lot of software teams, especially on Wall Street. Most recently, managed a lot of teams there. I did throughout the course of my life. I did my master's in finance, so I have that financial background. And then worked on in New York at a lot of these financial firms. So some examples of firms I worked at, is Greystone, which is a very large commercial mortgage lender. I ran a team there. I managed a bunch of software developers, hired them, all that sort of thing, put together a team, organized everything to build out essentially a piece of software, a website that allows people to very easily do these types of mortgages, right? So we're talking about $20-30 million mortgages that they can put through very easily, right? I think today that system has probably done about 30 billion in mortgages since we started. So definitely a success story there. And then after that, I worked at a company called Voyager, which, if you're familiar with the crypto world, is kind of like a Coinbase. It's a broker that allows you to buy and sell crypto stocks, or crypto coins, I should say. That company, I was there when we basically just started, when there's nothing there. We architected everything from the very beginning. I helped bring on board a lot of the team. And then, fast forward a couple of years, that company is now worth over $3 billion trading on the stock exchange. So that's a little bit about my background. Obviously now working on Lumibot, right? And what is Lumibot? The goal of this company is really about bringing the tools that I saw on Wall Street over to everyday people, right? We see when I used to work on Wall Street, I found it very frustrating that people would only the very, very wealthy people had access to certain types of investments, right? They're able to invest into these things that gave them these huge returns. And even me working there was impossible for me to get into. Right. So we want to solve that problem with Lumibot, right? So we're solving it through education, and we're also working on a bunch of tools that are going to help you guys do this a lot better over time. So if you guys join our community, if you join our live classes, the way that it works is you're a community member for life. You could join classes again in the future as our technology improves and things like that. You could retake the classes and whatnot. And you also get access to a lot of our technology as well. To really help you out with this sort of thing. Once again, our goal is really to help you get better investment returns, and also in the process teach you some very valuable skills. All right. Okay. For those of you that joined at the beginning and missed this, make sure that you follow us on YouTube. It's Lumibot is our YouTube channel. You just go into YouTube, search for Lumibot. It's right here. Make sure you subscribe. We send out a lot of free stuff through there. We send out a lot of our updates for our technology. We send out examples of new trading bots that we make. So there's lots and lots of content on there. And if you subscribe, then you can get notified of all the new stuff that comes through. All right. So make sure you subscribe there. And another thing you also want to do is, and I'll copy and paste this into our chat, is you want to get onto our Discord channel. We have lots and lots of people on there. And it's basically a discussion. You can communicate with some of our existing students. You communicate with potential students coming up, alumni, people have made bots already. You can talk to a lot of the people on this channel here. And, it's part of a community. It's a chat community where we're all going to be able to talk to each other, right? Okay, so you just got to make sure you click on that link that is shared inside the chat. And when you click on that, you'll be able to get access to our Discord server, all right? Okay. And also just want to remind you guys that we're doing a survey at the end of the webinar. So make sure you fill out that survey because it helps us make these things better for you guys, and also improve our courses and think of new and better ways to help you guys out and make your lives better, especially in this respect. Right. Okay. So I'll let you guys, by the way, if you guys have questions throughout, please feel free to type in the questions into either the Q&A or the chat. I'll be answering questions live throughout. We'll have time at the end as well, but don't hesitate to ask throughout this webinar, because you don't want to wait until the end, and essentially we can answer all the questions that you have. So don't feel shy that you need to wait until the very end, right? Okay, cool. So let's talk about algorithmic trading, right? What is it? Why do we care, right? So I'm assuming since you guys are in this webinar, you probably have some idea of what algo trading is, but to rehash it, it's essentially using software or algorithms, right, to analyze data and then make trading decisions or make trades, right? So not every single algorithm is actually executing the trades for you. A lot of them are, but not every single one of them. An algorithm can also inform you as to what you should be trading. So we have some of our students and some of our clients that they'd rather put in the trades themselves, and that's perfectly fine as well. And that's part of algorithmic trading. Okay, we're just using data to make better decisions and make more money using software, right? Okay, so now that we know what it is, right, why do we care, right? Well, the reason why we care is because it is very effective, right? So think about it in general, right? You know, software really has been taking over the world in pretty much every single way, right? Think about everything from healthcare to, you know, the way that we interact with each other, you know, telephones and social media and video chats, and basically technology has been improving everything in the world and making it better and really disrupting the whole space, right? And that is not different at all when it comes to the investing world, right? There's a lot of companies right now that are using this technology and they're making lots and lots and lots of money doing it, right? So let's give you a couple of examples, right? So Renaissance Technologies, these guys are probably one of the bigger guys in the room, right? It was founded by a guy named Jim Simmons, which has a really good book written about him. It's called The Man Who Solved the Market. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a really good book. I definitely recommend this. The Man Who Solved the Market. When you look it up, it's a great book about this man, Jim Simmons, who essentially solved the market, right? As the book says, right? His fund, Renaissance Technologies, has been producing extraordinarily high returns for a very long time now, right? And has made him and everyone that works at the company extremely, extremely rich. If you read the book, it's actually pretty cool. These guys were like buying mansions that they forgot about, like all sorts of like crazy stuff. Like they were just making like millions of dollars a week, you know, like this is ridiculous. This fund's still around, and they're just as successful now as they used to be, right? Actually, even more so. It's because it's grown, right? Last I checked, they had $110 billion in assets, although I think that's actually quite a bit bigger now. Because I checked this almost a year ago now, so if we could probably get more recent numbers, it's probably double that by this point. These guys, their medallion fund returns 39% returns per year on average. So compare that to like the stock market, it makes 10% a year on average. And that's very good, by the way, right? 10% versus 40, okay? If you guys know a little bit about compound returns, you'll know how important this is, okay? And it's, by the way, it's 40%, and it's not, you know, so you'll have friends, and, you know, we all know these people that, you know, oh, I made 50% last year, that sort of thing. Great, you did that 1 year. Can you do that every single year, right? And can you do that without taking such crazy risks that one day you just lose everything, right? Because, you know, it's possible to make a 50% return. We've seen it, right? But can you do that year in, year out, and not blow up your account and not take crazy risks, right? That's the point here, right? So that's what they're doing. They're making 30%. And I think it was only 1 quarter or 1 year that they've ever lost money. Like, it's crazy. Like that. Think about 2008 happened. Think about last year happened. Think about all these crashes. These guys never lose money, pretty much. I think it's like 1 year that they've lost money, and they get 40% a year on average. It's crazy, right? So let's talk about what that means in terms of compounding, right? So let's say if you put in $1,000 into this kind of fund, and it took 30 years, and you put in for 30 years, what you would end up with at the end of that is $24 million. You would turn 1 grand into 24 million after 30 years. It's absolutely insane, right? So what these guys are doing is basically defying gravity, right? There's no other hedge fund that I know of that can achieve anywhere near these kinds of returns, right? Except for the other guys that are doing things similar to them, right? So these guys, of course, use algorithms to do this sort of thing. If you were to read that book, you'll learn a little bit more about it. And basically what they're all mathematicians, and they've built basically a lot of these like algorithms. Okay, so we have one algorithm that's checking this specific thing. We have another algorithm that's checking this specific thing. And they're all making little small amounts of money trading all this stuff all day long, every day, right? Of course, we don't know exactly what they're doing because they're super secretive about it, right? Then we could just copy them and use their techniques, right? But they are using this kind of software to do these types of things, right? So they're analyzing the stock market using software in order to make these trades automatic and to inform them on things that are going to be profitable, right? And to warn them when things are going to about to fall apart and they're about to lose money, right? So these guys are just killing it. They're making huge amounts of money, right? But they're not alone, right? There are other companies like this too, like Two Sigma. These guys manage $60 billion worth of assets, right? They do some very similar stuff, right? They're getting, I believe, the same almost the same types of returns as Renaissance Technology is doing as well. Citadel, same sort of thing, right? They all run algorithms. They managed $32 billion last time I checked. I think it's probably more than that now as well. Bridgewater, our friend Ray Dalio, if you guys are familiar with this guy, they use lots and lots of data, lots and lots of algorithms to inform their trades as well, right? Actually, if you read Ray Dalio's book, he talks a lot about how they've systematized their trading. So there's it's a rule-based kind of system that they go through and say, is this true? Yes or no? Is this true? Yes or no? And they've built little robots that could tell them this signal's flashing red, this signal's flashing green, and they could actually make their trading decisions based off of that. These guys have, of course, done incredibly well, just as the others have. So we're seeing a pattern here, right? We're seeing that all these hedge funds that are using the data that are trading automatically, these guys are making lots and lots of money. They're beating the hedge fund market as a whole by a lot, right? Another one, D.E. Shaw. You guys might be familiar with this one because the world's richest man used to work at this hedge fund, right? And I'm talking, of course, about Jeff Bezos. So there's actually a story of how Jeff Bezos used to work at D.E. Shaw. He would help building out these algorithms and whatnot. And that's kind of where he got the idea for Amazon, decided to leave D.E. Shaw and started Amazon, and the rest is history, right? D.E. Shaw is, of course, another hedge fund that also uses these algorithms to make trades for them and to make them more money, right? The salaries at these companies, of course, astronomically high. I have here, the base is 350 grand a year. With bonuses, you could easily make millions and millions of dollars working at these places. Base salary of 350 grand, not bad, right? And of course, like I was saying before, these algorithms sometimes provide alerts and sometimes provide actual trades for you, right? We teach you how to do both. If you want to have something that just gives you alerts, we can do that for you. If you want to have something that actually executes these trades, as I'm going to show you in a short little while, we could do that for you as well, right? Okay, here's some of our returns that we've gotten. This is last year's returns. Basically, as you can see here, in one of our portfolios, we manage money in several different portfolios, but this is one, and actually not even the best one, to be quite honest with you. But it was easy. I was able to take a screenshot for my fidelity on this. This is what we got. We got a 53% return last year, and that's compared to the S&P 500, which did only 17% that last year, right? So we beat the market by almost 3 times last year, right? That's a little bit about our returns. Okay, so now that we've gone through all that, we now understand algo trading. We understand kind of the significance of it and all that. So let's talk about this actual demo. Let's talk about the code. All right, so for those of you that do know how to code, you can check out our open source library here. We teach this throughout our course. So throughout our course, we teach you, first of all, how to set this all up. We teach you the fundamentals behind it so that you know how to actually use it and how to actually use it to make you money profitably, right? Without taking these crazy risks and all that. But this is technology that's based off of. If you guys have a GitHub account, make sure that you watch us and star us because we're constantly improving this thing. We put out a new release once every 2 weeks or once a month, depending on kind of what we're developing. So make sure you star us, make sure you watch us on GitHub, and that way you're going to get those updates when they come out, right? Okay, but basically here's our technology that we've developed. Basically, it allows you to create trading bots very easily, right? And not only can you create a trading bot, but you can create a bot, back test it, right? Which means see how it would have performed over the past 20, 30, 40 years. If it would have performed well, then you can go ahead and say, yes, let's run this thing and let's try it out and let's make some money off of it, right? Okay, so it makes it very easy for you to back test strategies, which means, you know, check how they would have done in the past, right? Because of course, you want to look at historical performance, right? If this thing did well over time, oh, that's great. It did well. Let's actually use it going forward, right? And then the exact same code from there will actually help you go live as well, right? So this is that technology that we have developed. We're also building out a lot of stuff to help you with putting this up on the cloud, and we're working on technology to make this so that if you guys create trading bots, you could actually even sell it on our website and get money for it from other investors. So we're working on a lot of interesting, cool new technology, right? We've created this bot so that you have a lot of example strategies in there. If you take our courses, you actually get a lot more sample strategies. There's a couple of them in there. There's a lot more when you go through our courses. We'll show you lots and lots of examples of different bots working, how they perform, and all that sort of thing. So that's included within our courses. And then it's easy to add in new data sources, new brokers, and of course, it's very easy for you guys to add your own strategy, right? And of course, if you add your own strategy, as I was saying, you could back test it and then actually trade it very, very easily across the board, all right? Okay, so let's get to the demo, all right? So the demo here is going to show off kind of one of our trading robots, and you'll be able to see how it works, and you could see how you could build something similar as well, right? So some of these bots, some of them are just for demonstration purposes, so you guys can kind of see how this thing's working and whatnot, right? Some of them are strategies that we actually use ourselves in our own portfolio, and I could tell you a couple of them that we are using, right? So I'll walk you through a bunch of them today. There's going to be 5 of them that I'm going to walk you through, right? Okay, so let's jump over to the code, right? So here is the code for running some of our strategies. And I'm going to show you 2 of our strategies here. So first, I'm going to show you our intraday momentum strategy, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit run, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to launch this strategy here. It's going to get going. And when I go into my broker here, we could see it didn't have anything to begin with. And we wait a second for it to refresh. And there we go. And it bought us DJP, the asset, right? Why did it do that? Okay. Let's take a look at the code. Let's see what it's doing. All right. So this is our strategy, intraday momentum. Okay. And it's not a lot of code. Even if you guys, let's say you guys don't know how to code at all, right? We will, first of all, in the course, teach you how to code. And then you'll actually be able to run these bots. Believe me, I've seen people that, you know, are in their 50s and 60s that have actually been able to successfully build out some bots, right? So don't feel bad or don't feel afraid if this looks like a foreign language to you, because we'll get you to the point where you can understand what's happening, right? It's not a lot of code, right? It's 100 lines of code. Most of it is copy paste, right? So I got a chat here. I'm going to join again from my computer because I can't see well from my phone. I hope this is okay. Yeah, there's no problem with Shell. Feel free to do that. You could also get the recording on YouTube afterwards as well if you want to look through it, right? And what I'll do as well for any of you guys, anyone else that's on their phone, I'm going to make this text a little bit bigger. It's kind of hard to show this on the phone, admittedly, but I'll make it a little bigger so you guys can see these here, right? Okay. So here we have a bot. Basically, we have our methods throughout it. Let's say, what do we do when we first start up the bot? That's the initialize, right? What do we do on each trading iteration? So this runs on a minute by minute cycle, right? So every minute we're making new decisions here. And this is all the code here to check what to do during that time, right? Here, we want to do some stuff before the market closes. Before the market closes, we just sell everything, right? Because this is one of those strategies we don't want to run overnight. We have on abrupt closing that also tells us to sell. So if we stop our bot, it will sell everything because it's one of those like day trading bots that we don't want to have up and running when the bot's not running, right? Because you can lose a lot of money that way. So we want to make sure that everything is closed, right? And essentially what this strategy does, and we'll see here if it flipped around this asset, right? It's going to be trading all day long, right? And what it's going to be doing is it's going to be finding which asset is doing the best today out of a list that we give it, right? So it actually didn't change it because DJP is doing extremely well today. Wow. It almost went up 1% in the past 2 minutes. That is crazy. Something's going on there. I've actually been doing these webinars a lot of times. I've never seen that, which is really cool. And basically what it does is it looks over these assets here. It looks over SPY, GLD, TLT, MSFT, Tesla, DJP, and Apple. You could switch these up. It's very easy for you to switch them up. And basically just keeps looking at these symbols and says which one has done the best over the past 2 minutes, okay? In this case, we're looking and we see that DJP is just performing really, really well today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this again, actually taking DJP out so you guys can see how that performs, okay? So I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to run this again because I'm going to get rid of that DJP because it's doing way too well today. So I'm going to sell that off. Or actually, sorry, it already sold. I didn't need to do that. Okay, so this strategy is going to be looking at all those assets, right? And it's going to say which one is doing the best, and it's just going to buy that one and hold on to it for a little while, right? So hit run here. Okay, so we'll let it run for a little bit in the background again. So now when it ran again, it chose instead GLD, right? And as I keep talking, and it kind of depends on the market, right? Because every day the market's a little bit different, right? But basically what I saw here is it sees that GLD is up 0.06% in the past 2 minutes. So because of that, it bought GLD, so gold, right? The other ones here, TLT is flat, SPY is about flat, Tesla's down, Apple's down. So it chose to buy the gold instead, right? Okay, and if we keep this going, I'm going to keep talking. We'll see if this thing actually trades to something else because it depends on the market, obviously. Right? I'm going to keep it running, and I'm going to ask you guys if you have any questions so far about where we are at with these bots. I know we could talk a lot about how you could take this and you could actually modify it to do something of your own, right? There's a lot of people that so there you go. So GLD is still the best right now, the best asset. You know, there's a lot of people that will want to take this and modify it so that they can have, you know, technical analysis or whatnot. So, okay, we got a question here. Can you route profit to a separate account to be managed by another robot? So what do you mean by that specifically, right? So the way that I'm understanding that is route profit to a separate account to be managed by another robot. Reinvested profit from the first robot. Yeah, so these bots, you can actually run multiple bots at a time, right? So you could actually have one bot that manages a certain percentage of your portfolio, another bot that manages another percent. So the way it works is here we have one strategy like this. We can create another strategy, and then we could run here. Once we add only one strategy, we could add both, right? We could add in 2 or 3 or 4, and it'll just manage your account doing that the whole day long, right? So you could have multiple bots like this running, right? Okay. So yeah, so gold is still outperforming. So we're not really seeing too much activity today because it's been the best asset throughout the entire day, right? If you guys want, we could keep this running and you guys can actually see it like switch from one to the other. But that's really, again, it depends on the market, right? So it's a little hard to do this sometimes, right? As you can see, the other ones are moving around, but gold is kind of steadily going up in the same direction. All right. And the question is, are we using VS Code? Yes, this is VS Code that we're using, right? So actually throughout the class, we teach you throughout using VS Code. It's, you know, in my opinion, one of the best IDEs, and it's free. It's a great way to learn how to code. So that's definitely our choice throughout Lumi Wealth, right? Okay, so gold is moving around a little bit. So you guys tell me if you guys want to keep watching this. Gold is starting to come down a little bit now, right? But it might be, you know, 5, 10, 20 minutes before things switch over, depending on kind of the way that markets work, right? So I'm going to keep that running. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about our next strategy, right? While that's running in the background. Okay? So we have another strategy that's a momentum strategy. Okay, so these are both momentum strategies, right? they basically just take what did the best over the past X amount of time and then buy that, right? So in this case, it's looking over the past 2 minutes. You can see here, right? Which one did the best over the past 2 minutes, right? And you see all the different numbers here, right? For all the different symbols, okay? But we could also run something that is not trading so often, right? We could run something that trades only once a day, right? And that's what this momentum strategy is, right? So we have one intraday momentum that basically shows us what's happening or will trade intraday within the day. There's buy and sell stuff throughout the day, right? And then we also have a momentum strategy. Why would you trade only once? So that's a question here. So the question is, why would you trade only once? And the answer to that is a couple different reasons, right? So sometimes, it depends on the strategy, really is what it comes down to, right? Because some strategies make a lot of sense trading throughout the day. So for example, if you were to take our machine learning course in conjunction with this, we could teach you how to build a machine learning algorithm that will throughout the day buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, right? And we'll just do that all day long, right? Or, right, you might be interested, and a lot of our clients are, in just basically having a portfolio that rebalances and pays attention to the news, right? So depending on different macroeconomic factors, you could say, I'm going to change the balance of my portfolio, right? And that's going to have less trading costs, right? But it may or may not make you as much money depending on kind of the specific situation there, right? So the answer is it depends on the algorithm. Some algorithms are within the day. Some algorithms are day by day. Some algorithms trade once a week, right? It depends on what is specifically that you want to do, right? Okay. So yeah. So as I was saying, this momentum strategy that I'm going to be showing you soon is basically it's only trading once a day, and this is looking at how did things perform over the past 2 days as opposed to 2 minutes. All right. So I'm going to stop the other strategy, right? I'm going to stop that. I'm going to run this one here. Okay. So I'm going to flip this over from intraday momentum to our momentum strategy. Okay. I'm going to hit run. Okay. And what this is going to do is it's going to do 2 things. This one is first going to back test this strategy, right? So it's going to look over the past, and I'll show you here from 2018, January 1st to 2019, January 1st. It's going to run that strategy over that time period, okay? And it's going to tell us what would have happened if we ran that strategy over that time period. So we see here that strategy got us about 7% over that time period. So if we ran this over that time period, we would have made 7% that year. And that compares to the stock market, which was down that year, 3.5%. So we would have actually beat the stock market by about 10% that year, approximately, okay, using this strategy. The volatility was also quite a bit lower, meaning volatility being how much it went up and down and kind of how well you're sleeping at night. If you guys have ever bought options or anything like that, like crazy things like that on Robinhood, you know what volatility is. You're up 30% one day, down 30% the next. That is definitely something that's quite scary, right? And that we want to avoid. So in this case, this strategy only had a 10% volatility that year, right? Only went up or down 10% on average, right? Whereas S&P 500 did 17% that year, right? Had a volatility of 17%. Also, on that time, the S&P 500 dropped 18% at one point. So meaning from the very top, right? So imagine what was the most recent peak in the stock market. It fell 19% almost, right? That year, okay? If you were in this strategy instead, you would have only fallen 9.5%, right? So you would have been making more money and taking less risk, right? Which is a fantastic way of investing, right? Okay, so that's that strategy. And basically what it does is it takes these three symbols, SPY, VEU, and AGG. It's taking those 3 symbols, right? And it's just saying which one did the best over the past 2 days, and then just buying that symbol and holding it for 1 day, right? That's all it's doing, okay? And in this case, it looked at it and said S&P did the best yesterday, right? Did 0.9% yesterday. Not much, but something, right? So it decided to buy that one. And if we wait a second, we'll see that it actually refreshed and should place this limit order, okay? And it put a limit order actually at $200. This is actually because I was playing around with it. So let me switch this up. Because I was showing this actually in a class on how to do limit orders. So I'm just going to delete that really quickly here. So we make it a market order instead, because that will never execute at 200 bucks. So I'm going to run this one more time. Yeah, I was showing people in class last week actually how to do limit orders. So that's why that was in there. Okay, so it's going to run the back test again, right? And then we'll see it actually trading, right? So there we go. It went through. We see the SPY did the best, or sorry, VEU actually did the best over the past 1 day, right? Is looking at a 24-hour period, so that actually even changes throughout. So now we decided to buy VEU, and that's what we're holding on to, all right? And if I put this up on my computer and just run it, I could leave this running on my computer for weeks or days, right? Or I could throw this up on a server and have it running the same thing. This is what we do with our money too, right? Is we just have this thing running up on a server and just buying and selling stuff for us all day long. Set it and forget it, right? If we ever decide to change the algorithm, it's very easy for us to do that, right? And it's basically just buying and selling stuff for us every day, rebalancing our portfolio, buying different assets. It's doing that all day long, right? And for us, we've opted for mostly buying, you know, we don't trade super frequently, but we do get quite good returns from it, right? Okay, cool. So that's our momentum strategy. Okay. Let me show you a few others. Okay. So we're going to stop that one. And you see when I stop it, automatically sold everything too. That's we put that into the program. You can have that if you want it or not, right? Okay. And now let's show you a couple other bots, right? Let's show you our, we're going to jump in here. And by the way, these are all bots, as you can see here. These are actually bots that we go through in our classes. This is day 10 and day 11, right? We're actually thinking about even moving up sooner and teaching these things. What broker are you using? Sorry, there's a question here. What broker are you using, and can you purchase portions of a stock as many brokers allow today? So we're using Alpaca, right? I'm not entirely sure if they allow fractional trading. They may or may not. That's actually a very good question. Alpaca fractional shares. Let's see if they allow that. Yeah, so apparently they do, right? They allow actually doing fractional shares, right? So we're using Alpaca here. That doesn't mean that you have to use Alpaca. I highly recommend it. They're a great broker. They're a lot like Robinhood. They're free trades, right? So no commissions, right? They have a fantastic API that works quite well, right? And they have a really good interface to work with, right? These guys are like up and coming brokers. They're really good. We also have interactive brokers that you can work with as well. And we're going to be adding more and more brokers as needed. Although, you know, it's really, I'll tell you, like some brokers, they don't give it API access, right? So it really depends, right? But for the most part, we can connect to almost any kind of broker. So that's really not much of an issue there, right? But Alpaca is, and I'd highly recommend using Alpaca as a broker. These guys are great, right? Free trades, fractional shares, as you saw there, right? Okay, all right, so let me show you another strategy. So, and I'm gonna run this because this back test is gonna take a little bit of time, right? So this is actually what we have running, or one of the strategies that we have running for our money right now, right? So what this strategy does, it's called debt trading, is it basically looks at how much debt is coming out into the market, right? So essentially, you know, we're going to say we take a look at the debt ratio of GDP to public debt in the United States, right? Of course, that's been going up quite a bit lately, right? Because of all these new policies with COVID and whatnot. You know, trillions of dollars are coming out into the system, right? And we're looking at that essentially that ratio over a 350-day period, right? Okay. And we're saying, is it up a lot over a 350-day period? And if it is, we're going to adjust our weightings based on that, right? So we're looking at two different assets here. We're trading SPY and TLT, right? So the S&P 500, right? And TLT, which is long-term bonds, right? Okay. We're holding on to those two, okay? And now traditional investment advice is to say to go 60-40 into these two, right? So 60% SPY, 40% TLT, right? That's our default, okay? And then depending on where we are in the debt cycle, right? Depending on how much debt is coming out into the system over the past 350 days, we're going to either go overweight into S&P 500 or overweight into TLT. So we go from 60-40 to 100%, or 60-40 to 100% in SPY, or 60-40 to 100% in TLT, right? So we're making that decision, right? Okay. So when we run this here, we see that the back test comes out quite good, right? This one over, this is over a longer time period that we back tested it. Let me show you exactly the dates here. We went over from 2010, January 1st to 2021, January 1st. So about an 11-year period, okay? Over that 11-year period, the S&P 500 made you 16%, right? This strategy would have made you 17.5%. So we beat the S&P 500 by 1%, which in the long run actually adds up to a lot of money. If you know anything about compound interest, this can be the difference between having $500,000 and $1 million at retirement, that sort of thing. Can really make a big difference in your portfolio. And not only are we beating the stock market, but we're also doing it with much lower volatility, right? So 10% volatility as opposed to a 17% volatility, right? So this is a lot safer than just investing in the stock market, right? You're going to have a lot less gyrations, right? Which means that, for example, when the stock market crashed last year, the stock market fell 33% that last year. That was the max drawdown, fell 33% last year. If you're going by this strategy, you would have only been down 17%. You wouldn't have been in panic mode, right? Everyone's freaking out. You would have been nice and cool. I'm still making money. I'm still good. You don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. So your money's safe and you're making more money than S&P 500. Better risk to return ratio. It's fantastic, right? And that shows our Sharpe ratio is actually close to 1.7 versus S&P 500, which is not even 1, right? Okay. And when we look, we'll see that actually bought, and it bought right now, but for us, the 60-40 mix of these two, SPY and TLT. Although I think any month now, this is going to start switching over and saying go fully into SPY because of all the spending that's happening. Because remember, we're looking over a long, long time period, and the spending didn't happen until recently, right? Okay. The policies came out, but the spending didn't happen until a couple months ago, right? And we're looking over a 1 year, over a 1 year period, longer than a 1 year period, right? Okay. So that's another strategy that we have here. This one does quite well. And also make sure that you don't lose a lot of money, right? Which is great. Is this demo a cash account you're showing us? This is a paper trading account that I'm showing you, right? Just because we're showing these demos, it doesn't make sense to be doing all this stuff in a live account, right? Because, obviously if we're just turning strategies on and off, we're just trading all day long. I'm not in the business of losing money, but it's a great way for us to show you how these all work. So this is a paper trading account that you're seeing. Okay. We're actually looking into sometime soon how we can actually show you guys some of our live accounts trading as well. So that's going to be coming out soon. All right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that question, Lachelle. All right. Okay. So let's show you another strategy. Right. So we can show you a diversification strategy. This one's like really, really safe. Right. So if you guys are interested in like super safe investing, but you could actually, if you leverage this, still make a lot of cash off of it. Let me show you this one here, right? So this one is diversification strategy, and it is what Ray Dalio recommends that the everyday investor put their money into, okay? And basically what it is it's a way of like keeping your money really, really safe, right? So what you do is you put your money into these assets here, SPY, TLT, IEF, GLD, and DJP, right? And these percentages. So 30% into SPY or stocks, 40% into long-term bonds, 15% into intermediate term bonds, 7.5% into gold, and another 7.5% into commodities. DJP is a basket of commodities, right? So he recommends that kind of a mix. And when you have this and basically rebalance on a regular basis, right? So here we're rebalancing daily. We could easily change that to rebalance once a month or something like that as well, right? So we're running this sort of thing, okay? Or I'm running the back test for this. And you'll see that when the back test comes out, what this does is it gives you a really good risk to return ratio, right? Which means that if you were to take this and, borrow money to put into it, it would be very safe to do that sort of thing, right? Or you could leverage it. You could use a margin or something like that. You could use futures, you could use options to leverage this sort of thing as well, right? And because it has such a low risk profile that you could actually increase your returns quite a bit by taking on a little bit of risk, right? Or by taking on a little bit of leverage, right? So we're about 80% through this thing, and we'll look back over here. We see that we have nothing in our broker right now, right? And when this thing finishes back testing, it's actually going to go and automatically buy all this stuff for us, and in that specific weighting. So it's taking up $50,000 budget and breaking it up into that, right? Okay, so we just finished. There we go. We see the results, right? And then we see that it actually bought all this stuff. So there we go. Bought all those things in that weighting. Very, very easy. If you have this thing up and running in a server, it will automatically just buy and sell stuff for you all day and week and month and year long. It'll just automatically do all this for you. All right. Okay. And then when we go up here, we could also see the back testing results, right? We see that, yes, the stock market beat it on a return basis, right? So 16% for the stock market versus 11% for us. But look at how low our volatility is, right? 6.9% volatility. That's nothing. That means that you're like super, super safe. Like nothing really crazy is happening in your account at all. That compares to a 17% volatility for the stock market as a whole, which means that if you were to invest money into this sort of thing and leverage it a little bit, you could easily get your returns over 11% without taking any kind of crazy risks and worrying that something's going to happen, right? So if you were to leverage this kind of thing, you could actually probably double the returns of the stock market or get close to it, all right? And then also we could take a look and see that the max drawdown, the max loss for the S&P 500 was 33% over that time period. Ours is only 13%. And that was again in March. And actually, by the way, we were using this kind of technique back in March. We were using pretty much exactly these proportions. That's why we actually made a ton of money last year, because when the stock market crashed, we actually had a lot of cash on hand that we were able to put into tech stocks and all that kind of stuff, right? So this strategy actually worked out quite well for us, right? Okay, so again, you see that here, and it bought all those things automatically, right? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this strategy. Okay, it will automatically sell them. Again, you see everything got sold automatically. It's very cool watching this now, right? Seeing the bot automatically trades this stuff for you. Okay, I'm going to show you one more strategy for today. And this is one that is actually quite popular with a lot of people too. And that's using technical analysis, right? So I'm going to turn the strategy on here. Okay, and then I'm going to hit run. Okay, and you'll see that the back test of this come back quite nice, right? And there's a lot of things that we can do to even improve from here. But basically what this is doing is it's doing something similar to that debt trading strategy I was talking about. It has SPY and TLT that's trading. So stocks and bonds, right? It's putting by default, right? It's putting 60% of its money in stocks and 40% of its money in bonds, right? And then what it's doing is we're looking at a technical analysis symbol or a technical indicator called RSI, right? Relative Strength Index. It's very easy for you to swap these out, by the way. If you want to use a different technical indicator, it's very, very easy for you to swap it out. And we give you the code to be able to do that sort of thing too. So, so what we're doing is we're looking at RSI, and RSI is basically an indicator to say whether something's overbought or oversold, right? So a high RSI, or specifically in our case, an RSI over 66%, is going to tell us that the stock market is overbought, that's overheating, that we should probably not be in the stock market right now because way too many people are in it right now. It's moved up too quickly, too fast, right? It's too much, too fast, right? Okay, and it's also looking at the transverse of that, right? So if the stock market falls a lot, right, then it's going to be flashing an indicator saying the stock market's oversold, get more into the stock market, right? So that's the way kind of it works. So it's saying we're watching RSI, we're normally in a 60-40, the regular kind of mix that everyone talks about, right? When the stock market is saying that's overbought, then we sell all of our stock market holdings and we only go into TLT. So we're taking some refuge. It seems like things are overheating. Let's step out for a little bit and just wait until things calm down, right? When things calm down again, it goes back to 60-40. And then when things fall, you know, and the RSI flashes that it's oversold, we're going to do the opposite, right? What we're going to do is we're going to sell all of our bonds and we're going to go 100% to stocks, right? So let's take a look at how this strategy would have performed over that time period, over those 11 years. The stock market, again, did 16% over that same time frame. We would have made 18%, so we would have beat it by 2%. This would have been a huge, huge increase in the value of your portfolio over a long time frame, right? We're talking here the difference between, you know, $500,000 and over $1 million over a long enough time frame, you know? So definitely a big thing. And again, our volatility is lower, right? Our volatility is only 13% versus the stock market, which is 17%, right? And our Sharpe ratio, that means is also quite a bit larger as well, right? And then also, we would have lost a lot less money last year in March, right? Instead of losing the 33% that the stock market lost, we would have lost only 20% at one point in time, right? And then obviously it came back up and we still kept doing well, right? So that means we're taking less risk and we're making more money in the stock market, right? Cool. So now when we see that, we'll see that this actually went in and traded for us. I'll see what it's recommending right now. Right now it's recommending the 60-40 mix. It seems like things are calm in the world of S&P 500 for now, although this was a very different a couple weeks ago, right? Okay, cool. So those are all of our trading strategies, right? So now let me tell you guys a little bit about our courses and how we walk through all this sort of stuff and how we teach you how to build these things, okay? So here's our course, and I'm going to share this link with you guys as well in the chat, okay? So you guys can take a look and see for yourselves as well while you're on this call with me, right? So there's that link. I'm going to click on this link and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about this course and what specifically we teach in this course, okay? So this is our algorithmic trading course. We also have a course on machine learning, right? It's using kind of like AI to trade. And then we also have a course on options trading coming out very soon as well, right? If you're going through this course, you're going to also be able to trade options as well. But this course isn't specific to options. We have another course that's like really, really specifically gets into that, right? Okay. We have 3 different plans for this course. We have a self-directed plan. We have a live classes plan, which is our most popular, right? And we have a project help and tutoring plan, right? Which more and more people have been signing up to lately, which is really cool. So our self-directed plan, what it is it's basically, you're going to watch the recordings of past lectures. You're going to have recordings of past lectures. You're going to be able to go through kind of what everyone else saw, go through all the assignments and things like that. If you need some help, you can talk to us over Discord. But it's kind of on your own to go through a lot of this material, right? So you're going to get access to that. You're going to get access to all the code, past recordings, and access to our community, right? For our live classes, which is our most popular plan, right? This one is essentially, it's kind of like this live over Zoom, except imagine you guys can turn on your microphones and your cameras, right? So you guys can ask questions throughout the class, right? So we're going to be teaching you everything from scratch, right? So if you don't know how to code, we'll teach you how to code too. You know, if you don't know data science, we'll teach you data science, right? And then we're going to teach you how to build bots using Lumibot and how to actually make these things run and start making you some money, right? So that's a live class. This one's really popular because you're going to be part of this community. You get to know other people in the class, see what other people are struggling with and what questions other people have. You can communicate with them. We have private chat rooms on Discord specifically for these classes. So you'll get access to those private chat rooms, which are always very active with some very intelligent students in there, right? So you're going to get access to that. You're going to get access to, we're going to be doing workshops, which we're starting soon. We're going to be doing weekly workshops where basically you're going to be able to join with a bunch of other students live, and you guys can all discuss kind of your questions around like the assignments and talk about the bots that you guys are running and all that sort of stuff. So you could join those workshops once a week, right? You're going to get access to obviously the live classes, which happen once a week. They're about 2 hours long, once a week for 12 weeks straight. Okay. And while you're going through the material, this is the beautiful thing, right? Is instead of just watching these videos and following along, you're going to be able to actually ask questions to make sure that this stuff is sinking in, it's getting into your head, and so that you guys come out of this with something that's actually working and on your computer, right? So for example, the past few weeks with our class that started back in March, you know, we spent a lot of time, you know, turn on your webcam, you know, or not your webcam, your share your screen, and we could walk through. Let's make sure this thing's installed on your computer. Let's make sure this thing's running. You know, I could tell you, you know, we've had people that are a little bit older that have never coded before and that actually can run their own bots, which is really, really cool, right? So that's what the live class is going to get you. It definitely gets you a lot of attention, and it gets you a lot of, you know, being able to go through this together with a class live, right? And then our last plan, which is our project help and tutoring plan, includes all of that, right? Everything that you get from the live classes. By the way, the live classes too, if you ever want to retake them, we have some people doing this. Sometimes things happen, right? You know, some of our students get jobs throughout this, which is really cool. They start learning this stuff. They put on the resume. Like one of our students recently got a job at Goldman Sachs, which is really, really cool. Very proud of her. So because of that, she's a little busy. She can't finish the class. So what we're allowing her to do is to take it again in the next session, right? So she can actually sit down and go through this over time. So that's the way these live classes are. So you can retake them and you get access to all the future classes going forward, right? As technology changes and gets better and all that sort of thing, right? For the project help and tutoring plan, you get access to all of that. Plus we can get some of our developers involved to actually help you build out some of these robots, right? So not only are you going to be going through the classes, but you're going to have our dev team to be able to actually help you build a few things, right? So that's, you know, obviously a lot of help to make sure that you get exactly what you need out of the class, right? Here's our pricing for all those classes. Our self-directed class is $650, right? Flat, if you guys need a payment plan, we can set that up as well. Our live classes are about $3,000. Again, this is the live over Zoom. This is definitely our most popular one. About $3,000 over a 3-month payment plan, so about a grand a month. If you guys need a different payment plan, we could also talk to you about that as well, right? And then our project help and tutoring plan, this is the one where you get access to live classes, plus you get our developers actually helping you out to build out some stuff. This one's almost $5K, paid over a 3-month period. Again, we could adjust that payment period if you feel that it's necessary, right? Okay. We also sell things in bundles. So if you guys want to buy this class along with the machine learning class at the same time, you're going to be able to have access to both of them, right? And we give you a discount for buying the two together. So we have a lot of people that actually go through our algorithmic trading course, and then they want to learn how to start doing the machine learning stuff, which is going to be giving them like much better and cooler returns. That class is actually taught by Greg, who is really a genius. He's gone to, I think, Stanford, Caltech, and one other like incredibly good Ivy League school. And he got funded by, you know, Menlo Ventures, by Google Ventures. He got funded like $10 million by those guys. And basically what he does is it's machine learning for a living. And he creates machine learning algorithms for hedge funds and things like that. I know last time you mentioned it, I think his clients get something like 40% returns on average, which is just astronomical. So it's amazing. So you guys definitely have to check out that class as well. We have webinars on that too. If you subscribe to our YouTube, you'll get access to that. But if you want to take the two classes together, then this is the rate that you get it for the two classes together, around $5,000. So it's saving you some money taking the two together, right? Okay, cool. All right, and let's scroll down a little bit here. I'm going to talk about the curriculum, kind of what you're going to be learning. So the curriculum is really 3 parts, okay? 12 weeks long, 3 parts. Each part is 4 weeks long or a month long, right? So part 1, so even if you don't know how to code, we will teach you how to code throughout the class, right? So we're going to be going over Python, basically how to use Python. We're going to teach you how to use pandas, which is essentially something that does data science, right? So you'll be able to analyze data, download things about stocks, figure out, you know, is this a good idea or not? Do a little bit of analysis, that sort of thing. That's what pandas is going to give you. So it'll teach you essentially Python and pandas at the first part of the class, right? And the second part of the class, and then throughout that first part, you have lots of assignments, lots of practice questions, that sort of thing. So you can get really good at this sort of skill, right? Okay, in part 2, what you're going to be going over is you're going to be really getting deep into the financial side of things, right? So you're going to be taking everything that you learned in the first part, the Python, the pandas, and you're going to learn how to apply that to the financial world, right? Which means we're going to be downloading lots of financial data. It means that we're going to be analyzing that financial data to figure out what is a good trading strategy, what's not, right? And then what we're going to be teaching you is how to do back testing, right? So basically being able to figure out, is this a good strategy for me or not, right? So we'll build a bunch of strategies throughout this, back test them, and we'll see, are these good strategies? How do we want to modify them? What else can we do to figure out how do we get those returns up, and how do we make more money? How do we make more money without taking crazy risks, right? You're going to be learning all that kind of stuff throughout part 2. And part 2 also has a project where you'll be presenting to the class. You're going to be seeing what other people are doing. A lot of people present every week, right? So you see what other people are up to. You kind of get ideas from them, right? And then you yourself can present and get some feedback on where you are, right? So that's kind of part 2, and we're doing that project throughout part 2. Okay. And then part 3 is really all about getting this bot up and running and trading for you, right? So we're going to teach you. We actually even changed this, so you don't even need to do this anymore. I actually got to change this website a little bit because we've updated our course to be even better now. But basically, we teach you how to actually get this bot up and running, get it on your computer, start trading for you, and you actually see those trades going, right? And then again, of course, throughout, we're still going to be showing you different examples. We're going to be showing you, we're going to be talking about how to increase your returns, all that sort of thing, right? So part 3, that's the project. You're going to come out of it with a bot that's actually trading, that's buying and selling for you on the market, right? Okay, great. And then by the end of it, what we also do is we cover machine learning as well, right? So a little tiny bit of machine learning. It's not as big as our machine learning class. We give you a little flavor of it so you understand kind of the different potential of this, right? Okay, cool. So those are the 3 parts. If you guys have questions about that, please feel free to type into the Q&A or into the chat, and I could answer any questions you have about the curriculum, right? But basically, by the end of it, you're going to have 2 projects, right? You're going to have one project where you analyze investment strategies, right? So you're going to know how to do the analysis part of it and say, should I be investing with this strategy? Should I not? Should I be, doing something else? You're going to be able to do that analysis there. And then the project 2 that you come out with is going to be the actual working bot that's buying and selling stuff for you, right? Okay. Now, not only are these cool projects, obviously you want to use this for your own trading and making money, right? That's the obvious thing. But another thing that a lot of people talk to me about as well is this is very good for your resume, right? You could take both these projects, throw them up on GitHub, and if you're applying to jobs, you can get a lot better jobs going through this, especially if you're in the finance space or want to get into it. These are really, really, really great projects. Like I said, one of our students recently just got a job at Goldman Sachs. A lot, not only because these projects, of course, she's a fantastic and very smart person, but she definitely told us that these projects being on a resume and being able to talk about this and say she knows how to code and do all this kind of stuff really pushed her over the edge to be able to get that job at Goldman Sachs, right? Okay, so obviously things that make you money in several different kinds of ways, right? Okay, and then we have 2 courses coming up soon. We have one coming up in June. The registration closes on June 10th. So coming up real quick, in about 2 weeks from now, the registration closes. That being said, don't wait until the very end, especially if you're new to coding. It'd be good to sign up a little sooner. You get access to materials up front and you can start practicing, getting into that. So by the time the class starts, you're ready, right? But also, just in general, when you sign up for June 10th, before June 10th, you'll get access to all these materials sooner. We also have a Memorial Day sale going on right now, by the way, that you guys should have gotten this in your emails. I think there's another one coming out soon. We have 20% off on all our courses, and that's going to be until I think the end of the month. I think 31st is the last day for that sale. So if you guys are interested in saving some money, it's 20% off, right? But yeah, so this class starts on June 24th. Registration closes June 10th, as I was saying, okay? It's 12 weeks long, right? Excluding holiday breaks, right? And then we recommend about 8 to 12 hours per week that you're going to be working on this, right? So you're going to be off doing your own thing, studying and going through the assignments and your projects and that sort of thing, 8 to 12 hours per week. And it's going to be every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time or 5 p.m. Pacific, okay? And the class every week is about an hour and a half long. Sometimes it goes a little longer than that, depending. Is there a promo code or something we need for the reduction for this holiday price? Yeah, you should have gotten an email and some text messages that came out to you with the promo code to use for the 20% off. So definitely check your email, check your text messages. If you don't find it there, feel free to email me. You can email me at rob@lumiwealth.com, right? Here's my email address, right? Or you could email one of our sales reps here, Alicia, ALICJA at lumiwealth.com. She might even get back to you faster than me. Email either one of us and we could send over that promo code so you could use it and save that 20%. Right? Okay, so that's our June class, right? And then we also have a class that's starting in August. Registration closes August 11th, starts on August 25th. It's the same thing, 12 weeks long. We recommend 8 to 12 hours per week. It's every Wednesday. So this one's Thursdays, right? This one's Wednesdays. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And again, every week's about an hour and a half to 2 hours of lecture time, right? And then you're going to go off and do your own work outside of that as well, right? Okay, cool. So those are projects. You can read a little bit about me here too if you want. And then we have some testimonials down here from some of our past students. We're going to be adding a bunch more soon too. As we just need to actually sit down and talk to these people. But we have a bunch of testimonials here. When you watch these videos, you see we have a lot of very happy customers. These people actually have some bots up and running, which are really cool. And we'll get a couple more up here soon. So you could see our latest classes and how they felt about this. People are loving these classes. We ask feedback every single week. We're very, very strict about constantly improving this and making this experience better for you guys. So I'm going to be posting some of these new testimonials as well soon, right? But you could take a look here. If you have any questions at the bottom here, you can book a call. This will get you in touch with either Alicia or Joe, and they can walk you through a lot of things about our courses and all the plans and that sort of thing, right? And then this is, this is the live class or a webinar here. You can actually watch the recording down here or some of our past ones, right? Okay, great. So that's walking through our courses there. And pretty much, yeah, so also I say this down here, our classes sell out quite often. So try not to wait until last minute as well, because we do limit it to 15 to 20 people. Having more than that, we found it just makes the learning experience a little not as good, right? So we don't want to have too many people in these classes, right? So keep that in mind. So that's another reason to sign up a little bit earlier as well. All right. Okay, cool. So that's basically the end of our webinar. Any questions, guys? You guys have been asking questions throughout, which is awesome. But here's a chance for you guys to ask anything else that might be on your minds. Right. So again, class is 12 weeks long. We also have a machine learning class. You can buy the two together. A lot of people do that, right? We're coming out with an options trading course soon too. So if you guys are interested in that, please let me know. The feedback at the end of this class is going to ask you about some of that stuff too. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Townsend. Is that your first name or is Derek your first name? Yeah, thank you very much for being part of this class, guys. It's always fun to show off these demos. We constantly are making more and more bots. Thank you, Lachelle. Thank you. Thank you for being in this class. We're constantly making more and more of these bots. So if you guys, want to watch things in the future, we're going to have more and more bots. We're going to be building out bots on all sorts of crazy cool things, and even having like a little website where you can actually go in and watch them and that sort of thing. Where all that stuff is in motion. So it's really exciting times, and it's cool to be able to see that sort of stuff. All right. All right, guys. So yeah, so Derek is your first name. Awesome. That's great. I had a feeling. Cool. All right. So if you guys don't have any more questions, thank you very much again for being part of this webinar. It's always a pleasure having you guys in the class. And I hope to see you guys in some of our classes coming up. Hopefully we'll see you in the June class. Right. Okay. Later, guys, and hope you have